So we about to get to this bag, right? We as nonprofits, we need our resources, we need funding to do the work that we want to do. And this video is about to share some gems, some nuggets on how we can get those small, low-hanging fruit fundraisers up and going to support the work that we're doing. I want to preface this video with the fact that we just came off of a phenomenal training at the Podcast Summit this past 4th of July. For the 4th and the 5th, we learned so much about podcasting, about the resources, about the equipment, and we're going to implement that here at the Social Changemakers podcast. But this video that you're about to see is on two very special nonprofit founders who are looking to start a nonprofit, one, and the other one has started a nonprofit but looking to raise funds for her nonprofit. So while the audio and the visual may be a little shaky, there were so many gems given in these two videos that we did not want you to miss them. So if you can stick it out and watch these two videos, you'll get some nuggets for sure. And when we come back to you next week, we'll be back to our regular quality of video. You're watching the Social Changemakers podcast, so let's get to the bag. Hey everybody, we are about to get to the bag. We're going to have a candid conversation about how to get funding for your nonprofit, right? So I am Kalila Denny, and this is the Social Changemakers podcast, and I am here with Veronica. Wyatt. Welcome to the podcast, Veronica.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm glad you decided to interview with me today. We're here at the Podcast Summit 2024.
Yes.
David Shands and Audie and Marcus Rozier, all these phenomenal people in the podcast space kind of teaching us about how we are going to get to the bag from a podcasting space.
Yes.
But I'm just glad that I've had a chance to be with you today. That we're on, in a phenomenal group together called the Morning Meetup.
Yes.
Also, hosted by David Shands, right?
Yes.
So I just want to get into our conversation. Let's get into our conversation. One, tell the people about your nonprofit that you currently have.
Okay. Hi. Thank you so much. So my non-for-profit name is Help from a Sister. This is my 4th year of doing it, and my passion for it. Well, we cater to single parents. I am a single parent. I raised 2 positive, productive citizens, and I knew it was a challenge. So therefore, my way of giving back is sharing tools and techniques that I use to transition my life from one stage to the next, to share with another single parent the same things, to hopefully they can change their lives and get to where I am now quicker than I did.
So what made you decide to start your nonprofit?
So my brother, for his birthday, wanted to feed the homeless. So he called me and was like, sis, my birthday present to myself, I want to feed 350 people.
Wow.
And I said, okay. It took me 3 hours to come up with all the items and a plan for us to feed the homeless for his birthday. And from there, it was like, okay, I enjoy doing this and I love giving back. So now I need to go create my 501c and get everything legitimate so I can give back more. And eventually I want sponsors or other people to donate money to my organization. But before I ask for that, I wanted to know what I can do myself with my non-for-profits.
So tell me, how much did you have to spend on that first, I'll say, missions trip to the streets to feed the homeless?
$1,500.
$1,500. So how did you come up with that?
That was his present to himself. He gave me the budget, and I stayed within his budget. So we gave them care packages. We gave them a chicken sandwich, a bag of chips and juice. And then in the care packages, it was these little small wipes. Well, once you wet it, it turns into a towel. Toothbrush, toothpaste, feminine products, and deodorant. The toothpaste, I wanted to give them, I guess, a cheaper brand. And my brother was like, no, we can't. He's like, I'm gonna need you to do a better brand for the toothpaste. So it was nice.
I'm glad he said that, because a lot of times, and no shade to you. You know, a lot of times we try to give less than what we would want to for ourselves, and I've made it a practice. If I'm not comfortable wearing it, or if it's not something I would eat, or if it's not a place that I would live, I wouldn't want to give that or share that with anybody else. I want to give them the same kind of quality that I would expect to receive. So I'm glad that he changed your heart on that. I'm sure you were 100% with it once you heard his reason why, right?
Oh yeah, I was fine. Let me go. Okay, do I get the extra 200 for that? Because
Yeah.
in my budget, I need it. He was like, "No, make it work, sis." I made it work.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, I'm here to kind of share with you just a few quick nuggets on
Okay.
how to get some sponsorships, grants, as well as maybe some donations from some other organizations. So, one of the things that I would share with you that a lot of people don't know when they start out in the nonprofit space, that there are fundraising opportunities that you can get right out the gate. So once you have your 501c3 in place, right?
Yes.
You and let me go back. You definitely have to start with getting your state incorporation. You went through that process.
Oh yes, I have
right?
all that.
How long did it take you to get the state incorporation?
It didn't take that long, but the state was asking for more documentation than the federal did. I think I got my non-for-profit status with the federal within 3 months. The state, it took 6 months.
And what state are you in?
Illinois.
Illinois, you need to do better. They need to do better.
They do need to do better, but it prepared me. They wanted to see, I gave them a proposed budget and a proposed different activities. They was like, okay, come back when you actually did. But by the time they came to me and asked me, I had already did those things that I said. So I was able to go then and say, hey, here's the brochure for what I did. This is the budget. This is actual expenses versus projected expenses. So,
Well, it's different per state what the required documentation is. Say, for instance, for Maryland, you do have to tell them, exactly what type of business you're establishing to make sure that it is, a nonprofit type of business, if that makes sense. I don't want to
okay.
get into the legal technicality and lose people, but it definitely has to be the type of business where it's free to the public, or you're giving, your services away to the public.
Yes.
So Maryland doesn't require, the whole budget and all of that. However, when you create your oh my gosh, I can't think of the document right now. It's a type of your organization.
Oh, I know
Document,
what you're talking
right?
about.
That is something that you do submit to the federal government, right?
Yes.
So you've got your state
Incorporation.
You
Yes.
said it took that took several months.
Oh no, for the state incorporation, no, it was for my tax exempt status with the state of Illinois.
Oh, okay.
So to get my non-for-profit, so that's the first step in Illinois, is to get the state incorporation.
Exactly. Yeah.
So once that take up to 7 days.
Okay, so that's what I was asking originally.
Oh,
I think
this.
we got the content mixed up. So, and that's my bad. What I was asking was that. So state 7, and that's typical. It only takes 7 to 10 business days to get incorporated in your state.
Yes.
Once you do that process, then you have to begin to gather the documents, the budget that you spoke about for the federal incorporation, right?
Yeah, so my first step, that was the first step. Second
Okay.
step was to submit everything for the IRS to get the nonprofit status.
Right.
After I get the nonprofit status, the third step is to go back to the state to get the state exemption. So now I'm exempt in the state of Illinois.
Oh, to get
For
like the tax exemption and everything.
yeah, so that's yes.
So okay, yeah, I hear you. And that is different than what I've experienced. So I'm glad that I, just heard that from you, so I know what to expect if I go to a state like Illinois.
Yes.
In the state of Maryland, you start out once you apply, you tell them what you're applying for, and you get that exemption in the state originally, initially, right?
Okay.
And then you're not 100% a tax exempt until you get the exemption from the federal government. But it is not something that you have to go back and say, oh, I am now, exempt the federal government in the state of Maryland or in New York, which I just did an incorporation incorporation for a young man in New York, and that same process. Once we got the incorporation in the state, they tell you're incorporated,
Correct.
but you're not tax exempt until you complete the federal level, and that's the process, right? So now that you've got your federal level exemption, well, it is a 501c3, 4, 6, um, 109, depending on what you're doing.
Mhm.
That is, can be determined whether or not you're a membership organization, if you're a private organization and you're setting up a foundation, or if you're doing a public entity, which is what most people do, which is a 501c3,
C3.
right?
Yes.
Is that what you chose to do?
I did chose the 503C,
501c3.
yeah, 5013C status, but now I'm thinking I need to actually convert it over to the foundation, because the definition when it comes to the foundation is you can donate majority of the money for your organization. And right now, I fund most of the fundraisers or activities that I do for my non for profit.
Yeah.
I fund that out of my pocket. Versus with the 501c, it's other people's money that I'm using to fund it.
So with the foundation, you can still use a 501c3 for a public foundation.
Yes.
Um, you can donate and get a tax write-off to your nonprofit.
Yes.
So you may already have the information that you need to do just that. You
Yes.
just now have to just write, make sure that you're reporting the donations that you're making to your nonprofit.
Yes. I write a check.
Yes,
Yes.
awesome, awesome. So you keep that information for your personal taxes, so you can use that as to reduce your taxable income. However, you can definitely, that money that you're giving to your nonprofit is still should still be considered tax exempt.
Yes, that is true.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, so now that we've gotten through all of that, right? Let's talk about some of the ways that you can fundraise that are like an easy lift, right?
Okay.
One of the things that I learned when I first got in, there is an organization like Jersey Mike's. Have you ever heard of Jersey Mike's?
Yes, I like their
You
sandwiches. Their
like
sub
Jersey Mike's
sandwiches.
sandwiches? This is not a promotion for Jersey Mike's, nor are we affiliated or have an affiliation. But Jersey Mike's is one of those organizations that is in the community, giving back to the community. And the way they do it is you can schedule a day in your community with Jersey Mike's where a portion of their sales will go to your nonprofit. A lot of people
Okay.
don't know that. There is several entities in the community that does fundraisers for nonprofits just like that. Chipotle is one of them, and there's several others, right? So that's one way you can quickly begin to start earning income for your nonprofit that's not necessarily coming out of your pocket.
Awesome.
So another way, there's a organization called Fundraise.
Fundraise. Okay.
Yes, Fundraise is one of the quickest ways that I, use to get funding like right out the gate.
Okay.
And what Fundraise is a way for you to collect donated goods, clothing, shoes, books, furniture, and you let your, people, your community who's supporting you know that this is going to, an organization like Fundraise, and Fundraise will then, in turn, pay you for the things that you received for donation. And my last two times that I used Fundraise, we raised over $1,000 for our nonprofit.
Oh, I need that information.
Yes. So Fundraise, we will put the information on the screen. We love using them. We actually are scheduled for our next fundraise event in September, and our goal is to raise over $1,000 to support the work that we're doing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
Okay. So my next fundraising event is in August. We're
Okay.
doing a book bag giveaway.
Okay.
So we give away 1,000 book bags filled with school supplies. And it's not the regular book bag.
Okay.
This is, I'm gonna say, a 10-pound book bag
Gotcha.
that has 4 notebooks, 4 spirals, pens, pencils, markers, the book bag. So yeah, it has a lot of items in it.
Okay, so how are you going to fund the? So how does it become a fundraiser for your organization?
Well, it's not a fundraiser. That's our way of giving back.
Okay, so
So
this is more of an awareness event.
yes, and this
Okay.
is our 4th year doing it. We started off with giving away 250 book bags, then we
Okay.
moved to 500. This is our 2nd year doing 1,000.
So now we have to figure out how do you do this without having to come out of pocket as an organization, right?
Yes,
So
that's the
I
key.
would give you one other, which is much quicker than the two that I gave you originally. And this is called Double Good. Any and
Double good.
everybody who has a nonprofit or a school or any kind of organization, they do 50% of the sales go to your nonprofit. So it's like a peer-to-peer kind of fundraising where you get a group of people. Say you have like 7 board members. Each board member will be charged to raise $500, right? And the way you raise the $500 is by selling this delicious popcorn from Double Good. Double Good popcorn. If you haven't had it, when you have it, once you taste it, so many people love Double Good. And again, they give 50% of the sales back to the organization. You schedule your fundraiser. Sometimes you have to schedule it within 3 or 4 weeks out. But the funds comes right to you, right? And it's a 4-day fundraiser, and you get the funds back from that within a week.
Oh wow.
So just
Okay.
imagine if you used, your fan base or those who you work with in the community as ambassadors for this popcorn sale, right? And then that popcorn sale could easily earn you $1,000, $2,000, and then you take that money and use it to supplement the supplies that you need, right? Because we know a lot of people will donate the supplies. We can
Yes.
send out a list, a supply list to our list serve, and people will pour in. But there's always that gap. There's
Yes.
certain things that people need, certain things that the kids are looking for, that will allow for them to really have a good productive school year, and we want to provide those things. So having a quick fundraiser like a Double Good fundraiser would help you close that gap.
Awesome. Okay, thank you for that information.
Yeah. So I would also share another good one that's fundraising, who does 50% as well, is an old favorite. Everybody loves
Tapioca's.
honey,
Oh,
honey baked ham. The honey baked ham company.
I didn't know that.
Yes, yes. There's honey baked hams across the nation, right? And they also give back by doing fundraisers for. So these are the low hanging fruits, right? These are the low hanging fruits.
Okay.
So I'm just excited, to hear. Tell us a little bit more about this story of your nonprofit.
Okay, so Help from a Sister caters to single parents. I provide resources, services, tools, and techniques to help them transition from one stage to the next.
Okay.
So that can be anywhere from we hosting monthly meetups
Okay.
in the office from 7 to 9. Once a month on a Friday, first Friday of every month, we get on a Zoom call to talk about all topics surrounding nonprofits. And I try to assist other people if they want or inspire to have a non for profit. Um, Coaching sessions, one-on-one coaching sessions.
What does the coaching session look like?
So it's pretty much group coach. Well, it's not one-on-one. It's group coaching sessions for single parents of like a support group. For the last couple was in reference to I have a 3-year-old. He's about to be 4. Grandson who's nonverbal, and it's a struggle in itself just to understand. Right. So I'm trying to get as much information as needed to assist me. So I ask parents, hey, do you have any of these issues or you know a child? Share the information. Where do I go? Who do I talk to? Who should I reach out to?
Hey, we about to learn how to get to this money in the nonprofit space. I am here with the good man, Mr. Jamal. And
Yes.
hey, we about to
Hi.
get to the conversation on how to get to this money in the nonprofit space,
Yes, I'm
right?
into it. I was getting to the
Yes,
money.
get to the money.
Yeah,
Yes.
I
I
like
am
that.
Kalila Denny, your host here at the Social Changemakers podcast. And we talk to people who are making social change,
Okay.
impacting our communities in a positive way, right?
Yes.
And Mr. James, you got, this unique way of doing that, right?
Okay.
And that
Yes.
is, working with our young people who are in the military,
Correct.
right? Let's talk about it. Share with me your nonprofit.
Okay. Well, I don't have a nonprofit at the moment.
Okay.
However, I'm in the Air Force. I've been in for 18 and a half years to the day, actually. Uh, the nonprofit aspect of things that I do are mentoring young service members and teaching them about the introductory or entry levels of financial literacy.
Awesome.
That's a mouthful. So I'm just teaching them money management, basically,
Oh,
not to
okay.
go get a Camaro with their first check or get approved at the money loan lender place to get a 38.6% APR on something. Let's get you some food first. Let's
Yes,
let's figure it out
right,
that way
right.
first.
Well, before we get into the conversation too deep, I just want to share with our audience that we are here in Atlanta, Georgia,
Yes,
at the Podcast Summit, right?
yes, 2024. I like it.
2024, put on by none other than David Shands of Sleep is for Suckers.
Correct.
The morning meetup, that is, the community that I'm
Hmm.
in, his entrepreneurship community where we get together every single day and help each other grow, hold each other accountable, celebrate each other. And we do business together in the morning meetup. So
Okay,
I am just happy that, David answered the call and said, yes, I'm not going to keep my skill set to myself. Let me share it with any and everybody who has a business, who want to start a business. It's important to start a podcast. So I just wanted to pay homage to my mentor,
for sure.
David, and just say thank you for, providing an opportunity like this, a space like this. There's so many of us, in the space who are recording our podcast right here at the summit. And I'm excited. I'm excited. That's what afforded me the opportunity to meet you and talk to you about the great work that you are doing. So
Yes,
thank you, David. And
yes.
so let's get into it.
Uh,
Tell me a little bit more about the work
okay,
that you're doing, and then I will talk to you about any questions that you may have as it
okay.
relates to starting up a nonprofit. Now that I know that you don't have
Yeah,
one, and forgive me, I thought
that's quite all
you were
right.
there already, but it's okay.
I'm
I'm here
working
to
on it.
help.
Thank you very much, and that's definitely what I need.
Yeah.
Um, Selfishly speaking, I'm about to retire from the Air Force in about a year and a half. And that being the case, my goal is to set myself up because I'm an aircraft mechanic by trade, C 130 aircraft mechanic by trade. However, I don't feel like crawling under somebody else's plane for the rest of my life and changing light bulbs and all kind of things of that nature, fixing hydraulics. And no, thank you. I've done more than enough.
Okay.
I'll tap into my calling of speaking to people and entertaining people as much as possible. And I too am grateful for the opportunity that David Shands has decided to put this whole event together again, second annual. It's
Yes.
greatly appreciated. Unfortunately, I'm not a member of the morning meetup. However, I've been listening to him for years, literally. I've listened to him when I've been in Okinawa, as we spoke about. I've been in Guam. I've been in multiple states in
Yeah.
America,
Yeah.
listening to him constantly.
So if you've listened to him for so many years, I'm just curious why you haven't, hit the button and said, "Let me join the
Okay.
morning meetup."
Well, the morning meetup, unfortunately, was about 16 hours time difference in Japan and
Okay.
17 hours time difference in Guam. So during those times, I would either be asleep or at work
Gotcha.
when those times happen. So uh,
The
me
morning
doing the
meetup would have gotten in the way of the bag,
morning
pretty
meetup
much.
or in front of a launch or aircraft launch or something like that. So
Yeah.
secondary, I see the value in it now, and
Yeah.
I decided to push myself to come out here and take advantage of the opportunity.
Well, awesome, awesome. Well, hopefully in your retirement, as you're starting and launching your business, you decide to join us, because when I tell you, it's a beautiful community
Hmm.
of like-minded people who are getting
to the bag. And
Yes.
that's not the primary reason, but once you understand your why and kind of,
Hmm.
figure out which way you want to go, you need to figure out how you can monetize it, how you can make money. Because one thing I know about my creator, the Lord that I serve,
Won't he do it?
um, he has built me and designed me in a way to follow my purpose, but my purpose is also supposed to help me to live a life that's
Okay.
comfortable, right? To live a life where I can not only make enough money, where I'm making enough for myself, but then to also be able to pour into others. So
Yes.
it's all right for us to get to that bag,
Yes.
right? So with
Excuse me.
you retiring from the military, you've decided that you want to help young people coming into the military
Correct.
with financial literacy. So
Yes.
I asked you before we get started, what makes you the authority
Okay.
in that space?
Thank
Because
you.
when you talk to when you share, you're telling me about the experience you had up under the planes and working on the planes and things like that. So why do we transition to financial literacy?
Okay, thank you for asking me that question, to be honest with you. And I like to preface this by saying I'm not a financial advisor in any way. However, uh, in the tree of unfortunate events, I've fallen out and hit in almost every branch on the way down
Okay.
before I'm trying to stick this landing.
Mm-hmm.
However, um, through my experiences and experiences that I've learned and spoken about through other people, uh, there's a common factor of just lack of knowledge, of lack of information being presented that would have saved me literally hundreds of thousands of dollars over
Mm.
the years. And being that we're on fixed incomes in the Air Force and the military in general, you only make as much as you make until you get promoted. Our pay is public knowledge. Um, with that amount of money that you get, it's best to be responsible with that money and live below your means, things of that nature. Um, so, living through my experiences, teaching those experiences and lessons learned and successes learned, passing that information forward. And my goal is to not only provide mentorship and lessons learned, but also be somewhat of a VJ, not a DJ, but a VJ. Whereas if you like learning things, like say you have a history teacher and you like the history teacher that just writes on the overhead projector or just does it on the chalkboard and reads out the book, that's how you learn. Then I'll find a financial literacy expert or someone who produces content. And here, this is how you like things. This person might provide value to you in learning about your thrift savings plan or learning about your Roth IRAs or any type of retirement or investing. Or if you like the history teacher that hops up on the desk with the bow and arrow and the fake swords and, oh, they was going crazy and all of that, then you want to get involved with that type of teacher. Okay, I can point you in this direction. I'll tell you a little bit of things to help your vocabulary, understand what they're talking about, but then I'll put you in contact with them. Here's some videos that might help you out, things of that nature. So it's just the introductory, like the intro to financial literacy, and then redirecting them to resources to better themselves.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Awesome. So just make sure I'm hearing you correctly, because it sounds like you want to be the catalyst between the individual who is looking to gain the financial literacy
Yes,
and those individuals who are out here with credentials, with
correct.
curriculum, with YouTube and other resources that
Yes.
align with a particular young person's learning curve.
Yes, and I'm glad that you asked that question. As a matter of fact, initially I was getting a master's degree in finance. I was going to do financial management. However, uh, I learned that if you want to get money in finance, money is a driver. But if you want to get money in finance, you don't want to manage financial advisors. You want to be the financial advisor.
Okay.
I don't have a problem managing people. However, I've done enough managing throughout my career, so that's not really something I'm interested in.
Okay.
I've worn uniforms for borderline decades, so I'm good. I would like to wear what I want to wear, be
Mm-hmm.
as comfortable as I want to be,
Mm-hmm.
and redirect people towards things that would be resourceful to them or
Okay.
beneficial to them. I switched my major to global business and blockchain technology. The blockchain technology is an idea that I have. Don't want to get too far into it, but partnering with people with events, financial events like InvestFest or podcast summits and things of that nature,
Mm-hmm.
and making smart contracts to be able to transfer back and forth between those events. Say you buy a ticket to here. You buy the VIP or all-star ticket here.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have that ticket, you can now go to another event and another event based on the ticket that you have.
Mm.
And that's something that
That's
I'm
something
interested in.
totally different
Yeah,
then.
something, and now I'm going to school for that, so I
Okay.
can assemble those things together. I'm sure someone's going to come up with the idea. Maybe they beat me, maybe they don't. Maybe we can
Yeah.
partner together. But I believe it's something that's bound to happen, and I'm a firm believer in smart contracts. However, that's the long-term goal. Zooming out. If I tighten up a little bit and zoom in just a little bit closer, I'm interested in helping. I mean, I've been helping young service members most of my career.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I enjoy that. That's something I've been an instructor teaching all kinds of courses, and it's something I found joy in.
Yeah.
And I've been doing it without getting paid for it. So
Yeah.
uh, I'm about to retire. I want to do things for myself. I still want to help people out.
Yeah.
So I feel like while I'm not a financial advisor, I'm very familiar with a lot of financial concepts and vocabulary. So if I can be the catalyst, as you said, the in between or the go between, look, you might not know what you're doing just yet. Let me tell you a couple catchphrases, a couple things, terms, and things that you might need to know to point you in the direction to really digest the information from this person or from
Yeah.
these people. And then that will help you out. That will give you the tools that you need to teach yourself how to fish, if
Okay.
that makes sense.
So just so I'm on the same page with you,
Okay.
the space of being that middleman, for a lack of a
Yes.
better word, in this moment, between the financial literacy education and the person seeking it, that's what you want to start the nonprofit in
Yeah,
doing?
I would love to learn more about the nonprofit aspect.
Okay.
Actually, I was speaking with a CPA to help me with taxes because I've started this business, the Long Money Learning Podcast and Prime Foresight Solutions and things. That's like
Okay.
the umbrella company or the mother company, as we learned about
Okay.
earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Learning about that to project this stuff moving forward. However, life has gotten in the way. I can come up with all kind of excuses. However, it doesn't matter right now. I
Okay.
didn't succeed at it yet because I'm the bottleneck for all of the activity and all the information. So
Yeah.
yes, I would like to be the middleman
Mm-hmm.
in that regard to help young service members
Mm-hmm.
and point them in the right direction to benefit themselves.
Yeah. Have you done any research in the space of financial literacy and sharing that information with other people? Like, are there other podcasts or
Yes.
entities that are doing the same work?
There are other entities doing similar work, yes.
Okay. What have you learned from those other entities that you feel like you can bring into a nonprofit?
I've learned that I myself am a unique entity in the Air Force, being that I'm already a minority in the branch, and several minorities like me are rarely spoken to. So I know that I can relate to them. I can provide relatable and digestible content that might resonate with them in combination with also resonating with other people. So I believe that my intent is to make that information that's been around for years and it will remain around for years. My desire is to make it more digestible and relatable and intentionally entertaining to young service members.
Gotcha.
Not just oh because I'm black and you're black, but I know you like anime. I see y'all playing the Fortnite and all that other stuff. They doing a little dance. Well, do the little dance and kick some money into your Roth IRA, kick some money into your TSP or whatever the case is. Just tie it together. And I know the way that I'm delivering it might not be as entertaining right now. However, I've got plans to make it more digestible and entertaining.
So why do you feel like it's not currently entertaining?
Because I was about to start dancing around and it's not enough room. I'm not trying to shake the tables around and nothing like that. And
Okay.
plus, I know I need to work on my delivery. That's another thing, another reason why I'm here because of my monotone voice. I need to get into the newscaster voice and things like that. Like I need to elevate my
It
aspect
sounds like
that
you're
way.
trying to be somebody that you're not. You don't have to do that
well, yes.
for it to be entertaining. There's somebody who wants to hear your monotone, that wants
I'm
to
sure.
hear that voice, who wants to receive the delivery that you already are in the way that you're delivering it.
Okay.
Your audience is out there. But
Thank
when
you.
you start becoming or trying to,
To be
be somebody else,
okay.
I know my young people, they're going to see
Cap.
right through it.
Right. Yeah,
So
that makes sense. I just don't want to put people to sleep. Like
yeah,
maybe I'm too self conscious about it. Like
okay,
when
I
I'm
think
holding
so.
conversations, when
Yeah,
I start seeing people yawn in mid conversation, I'm like, oh, that's it. All right,
yeah.
let me do a jumping jack or something, get people back into it.
Well, that sounds like something more
That's
that'll
a me
probably be
thing.
more digestible. That'll be more
Okay,
you
all right.
versus you trying to, come up with this persona or this
Yeah, yeah, I
individual
got what you're
who
saying.
is somebody different. And I'm
I'm
only saying this because I'm going through the same thing.
okay.
And when I say that, I just asked one of the young people that work with me because I had the thought of, do I code switch? Because when I'm
Okay.
talking to people, there was a time where I would change my voice,
Hmm.
I'd force on a smile and just become this person I thought they wanted me to be because I wasn't as entertaining as,
I completely
some.
understand.
I would compare myself to some other people that I'm seeing on, in the podcasting space and want to be as energetic because I feel like that might be why they got the following
Okay.
that they have. But when I think about it, they're just being themselves, right? So just to hear the confirmation of that today and all the training that we received, that our audience is out there. Our audience, the person who wants to hear it, the way that we deliver,
Hmm.
who loves the type of voice and the type of vernacular, as well as the speed or the how slow it is.
Hmm.
Our person is out there. So just keep that in mind as you're
Yeah.
thinking through it. But
Thank
I
you.
hear you. You say you ain't trying to put nobody to sleep.
No,
And
unless I'm
because
reading
that's on
bedtime
your mind,
stories,
I'm sure you're going to do the things that need to be done to
for
make it
sure.
entertaining, but not too much over the top.
Yeah.
Don't
Thank you.
don't make it too over the
Thank you.
top.
I
But
forgot. I'm sorry. Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Uh,
No.
I noticed that I did not answer your question about the nonprofit aspect of it.
Yeah.
While I was getting some information and feedback from the CPA who was helping me with my taxes, she let me know that there are not only do young service members need help, but also like orphans need help, single parents need help. People in broken homes, they also need to learn about money. It's not
Yeah.
just young black service members. A whole bunch of people don't know about money.
Yeah.
And that was the aspect where she let me know to get in contact with the Department of Washington Department of Veteran Affairs,
Mhm.
and some other public
You're from the
agencies.
state of Washington?
I flew here from Washington, yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
okay. All right.
But I'm from Baltimore, but still,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Either way,
You from
yeah,
my side. I'm from the
right.
DMV.
Okay, yeah. I
Yeah.
spent my high school years in Woodbridge, Manassas area, Northern Virginia. Then even further north in college in Shenandoah Valley area,
Okay.
and then born in Baltimore, and then went to North Carolina once I joined the military.
Gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
either way, she was letting me know about getting involved with like nonprofit or excuse me, like nonprofit orphanages and things of that nature to help them out. But I just never, I have a bunch of excuses as to why I didn't do it, but I still need to do it.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to go about finding the funding to do those things because while I can go and bring my own dry erase board and things like that and try and set it up for myself,
Yeah.
some of those things cost money, and I don't know how to find the grants. I hear that there's a bunch of grants and things like that for department for veterans for
I'm glad you said
minorities,
that
but I
because
don't
it
know enough.
is.
I don't know how to do that
There's a
at
lot
all.
of funding available for veterans, for black owned business, for men owned business. If you decide to do it for profit or nonprofit, there's funding out there, right? Um,
I hear
if
that.
you say you hear it, but
Yeah,
you
I don't
try to
know.
figure
Yeah,
it
I don't
out.
know where it is.
So if you decide to go the nonprofit route,
Mhm.
there's a process that you should go that you will have to take.
Okay.
Um, and we there's a checklist that I could send you, and we'll share that, as a link in the description. This checklist kind of tells you all the steps that need to take place from developing your operating agreement, from developing your bylaws, creating those bylaws, from getting incorporated in your state. You have to start there. Once you're incorporated in your state, you then go to the federal government and get, your 501c3, 4, 6, whatever it is that you decide to do. 9 times out of 10, based on the information that you shared with me in just this, few minutes, it'll be a 501c3. And once you get that designation, then you can start raising funds Now, the IRS will allow you to go back 3 years once you get the designation if they say yes, and if you've had people donate funds to you before within those last 3 years and count those as tax exempt. All right. So the process from start to finish could take upwards from 3 to 6 months because the federal government sometimes get a little busy. All right. But the state level, it normally takes about 7 to 14 business days, 2 weeks, right? So once you get that nonprofit, there's a host of different websites. There's a host of different resource tools. Candid is one of those places that you can go and search. There's something called Grant Watch. Grant Station is another one. These are all different resource vehicles that help you search out for grants from a philanthropic standpoint. Grant Station is one of the ones that does more of a corporate donation type philanthropic organizations where they'll help you niche down to the fact that you're African American male in the military and you're trying to serve the area of financial literacy in that space. And it'll tell you all of the organizations that are donating and align with that cause, right? So it's called Grant Station. Grant Watch is another government grant platform that will tell you like who in the federal government space, grants.gov as well, who is donating and giving money to those causes. So again, you just, put in your information, tell them who you are, what you're doing, who you're trying to serve, and they will help you pinpoint who is donating money in those spaces, right? So the from a grant perspective, I've shared, the fact that there are also other organizations like that get you quicker to the bag. I would say there's smaller donations. You got to put in a little work, but it's called the fundraising aspect. There's a number of different organizations where you can schedule, where like Jersey Mike's or Chipotle, and you schedule a day where some of the funds from their sales, Chipotle does it as well. Chipotle also has a grant process, for change makers or people in the community doing good. Not Chipotle, I'm sorry, Chick-fil-A. Um, so there's a number of different ways that you can go about getting some low-hanging fruit. We talked on the last podcast about double good popcorn, which is one of my favorite popcorns. Have you ever received a link from a niece or a cousin? Yes, yes. Yes, it's delicious, and you don't feel like you wasted your money, even though it is very expensive, right? And 50% of those sales go to the organization. So I know there's so much we can talk about as it relates to nonprofit and how you get started. And, my advice would always be see if there's someone in the nonprofit space currently doing the kind of work that you are doing, that you seek to do, right? Follow those people, see if you can get in contact with them in some way, provide value to them in exchange for the opportunity to learn from them and learn how they're maneuvering in the space, right? And get your education in that way. And once you have the education you need and you've decided, you're firm on this is what I want to do, then we start the process on getting you set up as a 501c3 public charity organization and get to that bag, right? To help you do the work. So we here at Denny's Consulting, which is my for-profit, we provide that service to you. We can help you with a done for you process where we set up your entity in your state. We help you with and do the filing for you for the federal government. We help you with the draft of your bylaws, and we also help you with your first organizing meeting. We coach you in the process of developing a board, because you need a board to help you manage your nonprofit. And all of that is provided for you in a done for you service at $3,000, right? Um, I tell you, we've had so many clients who are just thankful for the fact that we were able to save them the time and the worry of the whole process. We keep you we keep the communication going, so you know where you are in the process. We answer any calls or inquiries from the state or the federal government on your behalf, and we just take care of the process for you. If you decide, okay, well, maybe I do want to do, a part of it myself, there's a community of individuals that we meet once a month, where we have conversations around the steps and the different things that, take place as a new nonprofit or someone trying to start a nonprofit and wanting to do it themselves. And that community is a part of our coaching. So I love the fact that you decided you want to start a nonprofit. I think you have exactly what it takes to do it. I love your concept of wanting to help young individuals in the military who's first time getting this check, and they're like, oh, they're independence and all of that. And now we got to figure out, how do we keep that money? Because it a lot of times we think, you said it, the military doesn't get paid a lot of money, but you get paid enough that you can sustain yourself and save and invest, right?